Hello and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we will be speaking about check the facts. So, why do we have to bother and check the facts of what we are feeling or what we are thinking? That is important because sometimes our emotions are telling us a few things about the situation that we are in. And even though a lot of information that we do get from our emotions is very important and it does help us to make a lot of life-saving decisions for us, however, they may not always be true or factual. And many emotions and many actions are set off by our thoughts and our interpretations of the events and not by the events themselves. So if we look at it that there is an event that can happen, you may have a few thoughts about it. So when we have spoken about the chain analysis video, we spoke about how I reacted when my boyfriend, who was supposed to stay up and we were supposed to go out on a date night that evening, but because he chose to sleep off, I got upset with him. But in that situation, it was my interpretation of what it meant to come back to somebody who was sleeping again today. It was not the fact, because the fact was actually completely different. So my reaction and the way I felt was driven a lot more than my emotions and my thoughts rather than the event itself, right? So in this example, we can see that our emotions do have a big effect on our thoughts and even the way we choose to react. So examining our thoughts and sort of checking the facts on them can help us even change our emotions many a times. Because once I got to know and once I was able to check the fact with him after having a conversation when he told me that he was napping only so that he could sort of conserve energy and so that we could spend a better quality time later on, that was something that made me feel very differently about the same situation, right? So then how do we go about checking the facts? We can check the facts by asking ourselves a set of questions, a set of 6 questions to be precise. And so we can begin with asking what is this emotion that we want to change. And when we are doing checking the facts, you could initially try to do it with the help of a worksheet. The worksheet is provided to you because that will help you do it in a very detailed manner, because initially even understanding a few of these emotions can be difficult, as we are feeling so much and it can all seem muddled. So you could take the help of a worksheet because you don't have to remember all of these 6 questions right away, and you could do it with the help of that. You could even keep on referring to the handout if that is something that will help you. You can just go through them a bunch of times this week so that it is something that you sort of start doing on your own. So firstly, ask yourself what is the emotion that you want to change. Like if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling upset, what is it that you're feeling, and then go ahead and look at the prompting event that is led you to feel this way. Like what is it that has happened, and describe the facts that you have observed through your senses. Use your mindfulness skills in this situation and challenge your judgments that you seem to have. Challenge if you're thinking in absolutes, if you're using any black and white statements that this is how it should be, this is how it is. So think about it and challenge any of these statements if you find yourself using any. And then you could go ahead and ask yourself that what are my interpretations, my thoughts and my assumptions about the event now. So you could think of other possible solutions, other possible interpretations of the same set of things, because as we know that whenever there is one thing, it does not have to have just one meaning to it, right? Different people, if they look at the same thing, will come up with so many different interpretations. So we can try and look for other possible interpretations, if any. Practice looking at different sides of the situation. So when we practice mindfulness, there is an element when we practice looking at what's going on with us, what's going on around us, and even probably what's going on with the other person, right? So we can use all of these smaller skills that we have learned and practice looking at different sides in the situation, assessing all the points of views in that situation, and then test your interpretations and your assumptions, and then see again if they are fitting the facts. Yeah. Once you have done that, you can go ahead and ask yourself if you're assuming anything to be threatening to you, if you're assuming a threat in this situation. And if you feel that you are, then you label that threat, whatever it is that, this seems threatful to me, this seems threatening. So in my situation, the threat for me was that, oh, does my boyfriend not care about me? Then does that mean that, this is how I'm going to be treated in this situation? So that was probably a threat that I thought of. So you could label the threat for yourself. You can assess the probability of that threatening event or that threat to actually occur. Yeah. And then think of as many other possible outcomes at the same time. Okay, you can generate multiple outcomes in this step of checking the facts. And then you could go ahead and ask yourself, what is the catastrophe that I seem to be reacting so strongly to? And then imagine that catastrophe really happening. Okay, so, and once that has occurred, so for me, I would imagine what is the catastrophe that can be there, that okay, this person will leave me and I will be alone. And then I imagine that happening, that okay, it is something that's not very improbable anyway. So this catastrophe can happen. Then you also imagine yourself cope very well with that, like go through your whole problem solving, coping, you just imagine yourself going through all of those phases of that catastrophe, of getting over it. And then you can go ahead and finally ask yourself the question that, does your emotion in that situation, whichever the emotion was that we were planning on changing, does that or the intensity of that emotion that we have identified actually fit the facts of the situation that we are in? And most of the times you will notice that these things will not fit the fact, because a lot of times, as we said, that a lot of things is offset by the way we felt about it. And so that could be a way wherein you can check the facts for yourself and understand and take help from all of the mindfulness exercises that you've learned. Ask your wise mind whenever needed and try to see whatever emotions are fitting the facts and what are not. And for you to have some direction initially, there is also a handout wherein I have provided different thoughts and different emotions and different so I've given basically examples of different emotions that do fit the fact. Okay, so you can even go through all of that. You can orient yourself to what are the things that fit the fact, so that may also help you check the facts for yourself better.